Welcome, debtors and borrowers, to Bankruptcy Bailout, because debt ruins lives, not bankruptcy. My name is Matt Burkus. I'm a Colorado-based bankruptcy and student loan relief attorney, and today we're talking about the recently announced Student Loan Forgiveness Program. So this program's everyone's been waiting around for this program for a little over 2 years. The program that's announced is fairly consistent with what Biden has been promising since his campaign. I mean, he's never really seemed on board with the idea of broad-based student loan forgiveness, and you'll see that in the way this program is structured. So I'm here to discuss what this program does, what are some of the caveats, and try to get you pointed in the right direction as far as what you need to do to get this student loan forgiveness. So there's other things that are in this executive order that we're not going to discuss. There's going to be a new income-based payment program and some updates to the public service loan forgiveness program. That's going to be a different video. We're going to focus on the student loan forgiveness part of the executive order and some of the things that go along with that. So the first thing, really easy, is they again extended the payment pause till the end of the year 2022. So the payment pause right now was set to expire at the end of August of this year, and it's August as I'm making this video. That payment pause on federal student loans is going to continue until December 31st, 2022, and I think this time that's going to be the final end date. If you go back and look at some of my videos, I've been addressing this periodically, and they keep saying this is the final one, but I think realistically, now that we have student loan forgiveness announced and a program that's been made available, this is going to be the last extension to the payment pause. But as I've been advocating in my videos, you shouldn't be relying on the payment pause. You should get back into repayment as soon as you can, because right now the interest rate's 0%. So any payment you make goes entirely to your principal balance. All right, so the Biden administration is proposing student loan forgiveness up to $20,000. Let's go through the basic requirements of that. First, when it says up to $20,000, it's not saying that student loan forgiveness is tiered or anything like that. It just means that if your outstanding balance on your student loans is less than $20,000, then you're only going to get up to whatever you owe. So if you only owe $12,000 in student loans, in federal student loans, and they're eligible for forgiveness, you're only going to get the $12,000 forgiven. They're not going to send you a check for the additional $8,000. So when you read it saying it's up to $10,000, up to $20,000, all that means is if you happen to owe less than that amount, you will only get the amount that you owe, or your balance due, forgiven. So there's going to be two tracks to the forgiveness. The first one is if you received a Pell Grant when you were an undergrad in college and your income is below $125,000 a year, you'll get the $20,000 forgiveness. The income cap is $250,000. Let me double check that. $250,000, sorry, $250,000 for households, basically if you're married. So as long as your income is under those thresholds and you received a Pell Grant while you were an undergraduate in college, you will get the $20,000. If you only qualify on the income basis, right, again, below $125,000 if for an individual, $250,000 for a household, married, then you will get only up to $10,000 of forgiveness. So that's basically the program. Now, there are some caveats here that at least I haven't seen mentioned anywhere, but we'll see. The wording that I saw says that, or that I read, was that it's only for student loans held by the Department of Education. Now, if you don't understand how student loans work, that's not all federal student loans. The only loans that are held by the Department of Education are direct loans. Okay, but there's other types of federal student loans. So if you've borrowed money since 2010, you have a direct loan. All right, so if you've had a student loans, or if you borrowed money since 2010, you are in the direct loan program. Those loans are going to be eligible. But if you have older student loans that are the FFELP, which is the Federal Family Education Loan Program, or the old loan programs, remember that program is that private banks would lend the money, but the government would guarantee it. So those loans aren't held by the federal government. And the same is true for Perkins loans. Perkins loans are generally held or serviced by the university. Now, once those loans go into default status, they may get picked up by the Department of Education once they pay their guarantee. But if you have FFELP loans or Perkins loans that are in some sort of forbearance or deferment, but they're still basically in good standing and not in default, you're, at least on my reading, you're not eligible for this forgiveness program. Now, not all hope is lost because, at least for FFELP loans, there is a waiver to allow you to consolidate or reconsolidate those loans into direct loans. Again, that's a different issue. That's not really part of this executive order. That was something that was announced previously, so you can do a search for that. But if you have these older FFELP loans, and you would otherwise be eligible for this forgiveness, then you need to take some steps to try to reconsolidate your FFELP loans into direct loans. And how you do that is you contact your servicer and ask. Okay, so whoever's servicing your loans, you call up and say, hey, I want to do this. Hopefully, they'll be able to walk you through the process, but you'll want to sort of familiarize yourself with the rules and so forth as far as doing that. So there is a catch here, and it seems like that the specific forgiveness contemplated here, the $20,000, $10,000, is only going to be for direct student loans, not for FFELP, and not for Perkins loans. Okay, so that's kind of where things stand right now. So it's up to $20,000 if you received a Pell Grant while you're an undergrad and you qualify based on income. If you only qualify based on income, you're going to get $10,000 for forgiveness. We don't really care too much about the political issues here, but frankly, this seems like a program that nobody's going to be happy with, because certainly for student loan borrowers, they're going to see it as not enough forgiveness, and certainly for those that say that why should we be bailing out student loan borrowers in the first place, this just plays into the hands that they actually did it. So it's consistent with Biden's sort of take on this issue and what he's been campaigning for as far as targeted forgiveness for lower income and for racial minorities, and that's ostensibly what this does, but it may miss the mark as far as truly helping people because of some of the outstanding balance. But really, the people with high balance loans that are clamoring the most, they went to graduate school. This is mostly from graduate school and professional programs. Most people in undergrad programs don't accumulate high five figures or six-figure student loans. Not to say that doesn't happen ever, but it's more uncommon. So this is more targeted at sort of about 80% of borrowers who tend to have $50,000 or less in student loan balance, and to give them some help. And then this, combined with the new income-based repayment program and some other things, other structural changes in student loans, should make repaying the student loans easier for people going forward once the payment pause expires. As always, I welcome your questions in the comments, and I do try to answer them. Again, my name is Matt Burkus. I'm a Colorado bankruptcy and student loan relief attorney. Best of luck to you.